Check. Wait, you started already?
Yeah, but nobody watches that.
Nobody
But I'll
does
just
watch
edit
these.
this-
Okay.
Edit this part out, even though I'm not going to edit it
Look,
out.
it looks like we're drinking beers.
Yeah, that's
We
what I
got
want
those
people to think.
Coors tall boys going on.
Trying to get cracky.
We're not
So-
sober anymore. We drink now.
What's up with this?
Oh, maybe it got moved.
Did it a little?
This table got pulled. You gotta pull this way.
I think that's good. Like stuck in here. There we go.
Is that better?
Welcome back to the podcast. What's going on? A lot. Why are these lights so bright? Holy shit.
Yeah, we didn't fix anything.
All right, let me turn these lights down.
All right, top of the stairs. You have to go.
Why don't you chew some gum into the microphone while I go?
Thank you. Remember, I did that the one day. Could you hear it really bad in there?
Yeah, it was like.
Damn.
Good thing I had the
gum shoot over here.
Good thing I had the headphones on.
I would have done the Rusted podcast chewing that gum.
I wouldn't have heard it that bad either. It was like crazy loud.
Sorry about that, everybody.
I'm still low.
Okay. Also, I apologize in advance because my voice is a little crackly. Down here. That one, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's better. Is it too bright for you now? Okay.
This is what we'll roll with.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Nothing. So, we were saving this to talk about my Mexican vacation.
You know what? That pillow would be.
It has a little hole in it, so some of the stuffing might come out. That's why it's down here. It's being quarantined.
Yeah, but
Do it up, man. Whatever you're comfortable with.
tell me your Tulum story.
Okay, so Jesse told me before I left. Tell him what you said.
Wait, I love how we're like beached out this episode.
Yep.
I almost wore a basketball jersey too, but I was like, sometimes that can be. What did I say?
You said if you end up, because I said I'm a little scared because I'm not going to a resort. I said, what if the cartel gets me? And you said, even better, you'll come back with some good true crime stories. At least call me and let me know what the story is before they kill you.
Yeah, like which cartel or
how it happened,
what they're saying.
And it's so crazy because I have like a good story.
What are you doing? Who are you calling? They got me. I'm in Tulum.
Said $15,000.
Wait, wasn't there just a shooting in Tulum?
Yeah, there was. There was like, it was like 2 weeks before I went, or it might have been a month ago at this point.
Okay.
But so.
Was it a cartel?
It was the cartel that did the shooting.
Wait, guys, we just looked this up. Didn't it sound like we
it didn't sound like it was practice? But I did know that there was a shooting there.
No, yeah, you did know.
Because when I Googled before I left, I was doing a lot of research. And so I looked up recent news stories, and it was like a month before I left. It was like 2 tourists get shot and killed sitting in a restaurant. It was like, people who
kind of just got,
they got caught in the crossfire.
Tulumians?
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to read the article. Actually, I can look it up now. I didn't know if it was on the beach town, because there's 2 different places.
Beach town.
There's the town of Tulum, and then there is also like by the beach. There's this like line, and like that's like the hot spot in Tulum. Like the town is cool. Like there's a couple cool things, but like the cooler spot is like the strip of beach, or I don't forget what it's called. Zona Tulum beach, or something. Boy. One of those things. But wait, but before we get into that.
Yes. Sorry.
Did you see that I just saw this today. So the Maura Murray, we talked about her before, right?
I can't tell if your voice sounds a little sexy or a little like smoky annoying. That was great. It's somewhere in between.
It's a good combo.
Depending on the word, I'm like, it sounds sexy, or depending on the word, I'm like, oh my god, shut up.
Shut the hell up. I got that Mexican coronavirus.
Mexican, bro.
I think it's a new strand too. I don't even think this is. Yeah, like it's not even COVID. It's like whatever's above that.
COVID-20?
Yeah, it's not even called COVID. It was so high above it. It's not even COVID anymore. It's just like the next strand. I'm just kidding. I don't have
Mexivid?
COVID. Yeah, Mexivid.
Mexivid 1.
Mexivid 1 is
Libra
what I have.
Brings it back to the States.
Everybody gets sick. I'm patient 0.
Oh, shit.
I did get bit by 2 monkeys and a swine when I was there. So
what?
I'm just kidding. I did not get bit by any animals.
A swine?
A swine, a pig. I thought it sounded cooler than pig.
Do people say that?
I don't know. Swine flu. That's where I was
swine. Like if you're asking for like swine. Bacon or something. Can I get a swine, egg, and cheese?
Ew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nobody says that.
Nobody says. I don't know why I said it.
I got bit by a swine. A swine of pig.
Sounds so bad
It almost
now.
sounds like a flock of seagulls, like a swine of pig.
Swine of
Like
pigs.
7 pigs bit you.
Yes.
Then out of nowhere, this swine of pig came. A gaggle of geese.
Gaggle, that's a real word.
Is
That's
it
what I call
geese?
bikers. Yeah, geese. Gaggle of geese.
Wait, back up before the biting incidents. Something
Oh,
else.
Maura Murray. So,
What?
yeah, I brought her up, and then we changed the subject to me getting swine flu.
Who's Maura Murray?
Maura Murray is this girl from New Hampshire. I think it was New Hampshire that it happened. In 2004, she went missing. Go turn off all the lights if it's that bright.
It is.
Okay, go turn them off.
But I had LASIK eye surgery.
Oh shit! I forgot how to go.
We have
Tell
so
me all
many
about
things
it.
to talk about.
Yes,
Dude, we're all over the place. Tell me all about it. In the middle, I just made you back up 2 stories to Maura Murray, and I'm like, who the hell's that? And then I'm like, I can't see, and then I have LASIK. Tell me all about it. Well, I was at the mall. Which mall? That's my favorite mall.
That's why this is called Coke Stories.
All right. No, just Maura Murray. Maura Murray.
So Maura Murray,
Guys, this is the whole episode. This is bullshit. This
yeah.
episode.
So if you want a true crime case, come back for the next one. But this will be entertaining.
Okay.
So Maura Murray went missing in 2004.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire, she like left her college. I forget. She went to UMass Amherst. That's where she went.
Oh, interesting. I pass that a lot when I visit my family up there.
Mm-hmm.
Right outside or whatever. Northampton's this cool little town up there.
Okay.
I
think you've told the story the last 4 times I brought up Maura Murray.
Why can't I think of who this is?
So, because we have not done her episode yet. But I mean, what's interesting about it is because it was always there wasn't a lot of details, but it's like this huge mystery. Because what happened is she was in college, same time as me. I was at the University of Rhode Island around the same time. And she left school to go. I don't even remember the reasons and circumstances around it. I have to do a full episode on her. But she was like going to visit somebody. There was like some weird things like leading up to it. And all of a sudden, like she was
in her car.
Yeah, her car breaks down on the side of the road.
And then she's just gone like in between 10 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember.
Yep. Yeah. So there's like a bunch of like different like theories over the years. Her sister has this TikTok account, and her sister is trying to keep everything relevant.
Yeah.
To try to like get it back into circulation in the news. And I think she did. I just saw this TikTok before you got here.
Interesting.
I feel like the case was never closed. It's always been open. However, the police are out today investigating a couple places that they've already investigated, but they have to have some type of like tips or clues, and that's why they're back out there. So, but hopefully by the next episode we have,
so this happened like 20 years ago, but because the sister's keeping it relevant or whatever, it's being like investigated right now.
Yeah, just like those other ones that have been like being solved recently.
I know, it's crazy because of all the technology or whatever, or
even like people like me and you talking about it, bringing it back up until like the public interest and like getting people interested in it again. Like, I'm not saying that we're doing that.
7 people that listen to this podcast. 2 people in Indiana, 1 in Alaska, 1 in India.
We had that one person in France.
1 guy in Maine and a person in France.
Well, who knows?
Guys, we actually have a couple hundred listeners. At least that's how the numbers shake down.
Yep. That
almost a couple thousand. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I got on Maura Murray. So hopefully they find something. But I just thought it was really interesting that it was back in the news again. And they also, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Kendrick, whatever his last name is, he was the guy that they found in the gym mat.
In the mat.
They reclosed that case again.
That's bully.
It's so bullshit.
That's so annoying.
Yep. Because they
maybe that one kid didn't have anything to do with it, but the fact that his dad was FBI and he was like involved, and then all of a sudden.
And it's reclosed again now.
Yeah, come on, that's bullshit. Fuck that.
Yeah. I think those are all the.
I think it's just so. The part that's disturbing with that is they're just like, oh, he just climbed in the mat, and there's just like, it's not physically possible.
No, it's not physically.
It's just not possible, and like his face was like beaten in, like, oh no, the blood. And it's like, nah, his face was actually beat. And also, like, his shoe was in there and the mat was much smaller than his body. It was just like not
Yeah, too many things that cannot be explained.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they've reopened
Do
that
I
again.
think what happened is they got into a fight because apparently someone said that happened anyway.
Yep.
The FBI son kid, the white kid, probably maybe beat the shit out of him or knocked him out or
There was
something.
something with a dumbbell from the gym.
Oh, right, right. But so like knocked him out cold and he was either dead or unconscious or something, and the dude rolled him up in a mat.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he didn't know he killed him at the time, or maybe he wasn't dead at the time. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I think happened.
I agree with that theory. 100%.
Sorry, FBI. This is
Reopen
the
that
one time
case.
me and the government disagree on just this one
Just
case.
this
Just
one.
this one case with Kendra.
Just the one. Yo, you know what we didn't talk about either?
What?
Fucking stupid ass Brian Laundrie's stupid confession.
I
That's
couldn't
bullshit.
read. I couldn't. You sent it to me. I didn't read the whole thing though.
So
But I
pretty
saw
much,
that he said like that he basically decided like that her time was over with,
well, no, what happened?
or that she was like
No.
needed to be put down.
Well, I'm gonna explain it to you just because you didn't read it. So, what he's saying happened is that they were out on a stargazing out somewhere far. And so then they decided to walk back. And as they were walking back, she slipped and fell on a rock as they were crossing over a stream and like injured herself. And he didn't, yeah, you missed all the shit. So
I broke my ankle. Why are you strangling me?
yes. So
What does that even mean?
yeah, so she said that, or no, he said in this letter that he didn't want to leave her because they still had a long distance to go, and he knew that she was injured severely. So instead of going to go get like help or warm clothes, he stayed with her. And then towards the end of the night, she was so cold, she was going to hypothermic shock, and she was in so much pain that she was just begging Brian to end her life. And all she wanted to do was just die in peace. So he put her out of her misery.
Yeah, right.
And then in there it said something about like, I realized after that I made a critical mistake and I shouldn't have done this. And pretty much what they're saying is that clearly it sounds like bullshit. And also they think the mom and dad rewrote that confession. So to make it look like Brian wasn't the monster that he actually was.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
These
And then in
parents really
there,
suck.
his parents really suck. I hope they go to jail.
Imagine raising a kid for like 20 years and maybe being a shitty parent already, but then like you've raised someone for so long and then they're just a piece of shit and so are you.
Oh, it sucks so bad. Oh my god. And then also, shit, I was gonna say something else.
Something about Brian Laundrie. The parents. And then
Oh, he was like, in the end of that letter, his parents probably wrote this, but in Brian's letter, it said something about, I'm going to kill myself in the preserve. I'm going to let my body rest there and be picked away by animals. Please make sure you clean up my tent and all of my belongings because Gabby didn't like littering.
all right, you fucking idiot.
I know, it made me so mad. I was reading it, I was, like, livid. I, like, threw my phone across the room. I was like, "Fuck this guy, fuck his family, like, what pieces of shit, like, come on."
Gabby didn't like littering, but I will strangle her.
Mm.
Oh, I stubbed my toe. What are you doing?
So ridiculous.
Like, come on, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Also, man up. Just pick her up and walk her out of there or whatever.
Exactly,
Or go
call 911.
somewhere and go get help.
Yeah, leave her for a couple minutes and go back, like, what the fuck?
She was so cold. Give her all your clothes and you run back and go get more shit.
Yeah, there was a million things. If that was accurate, there's a million things he could have done.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
So your Mexico trip.
Oh, yeah, let me talk about that. And then also, should we do my episode 2 in this one?
I think this is just going to be this.
Okay, this will be
And then maybe
this.
we'll do a second one with.
Okay, all right, good. So then
What
I
do you
won't talk
think?
about this.
Because I feel like we've been talking too long. I feel like we have more. What do you want to do?
I have some good let me
I
go
feel
to
like
the
we should just tell some
stories.
stories right now.
Okay.
Right, guys? And then then we'll do and then we don't have to cut it, but I'll edit it. I'll edit this part out too, I
That
guess.
works.
And then just do that story.
You're never gonna edit it.
No.
It's even funnier when
It's
you
so
say you're
I
gonna
know, I know.
edit.
I'll edit it.
Okay, okay, okay.
No, and then we'll just roll right into the story, but I'll make it into 2.
Okay, so let me talk about Mexico.
Yeah.
So we decided we didn't. Everybody told us to go to a resort. They're like, go to a resort. You got to go to a resort. Like Mexico's third world country. Have you been to a third world country? Like it's like there's people they tell you not to leave the resort for a reason. And I was like, I got it. So me and my friend book a trip in Tulum, and we wanted to stay like traditional Tulum town. So we got this Airbnb. It was super inexpensive. The flight was super inexpensive. And it looked really, really nice. And I did a lot of research around it. We get on the plane, we run our car. First of all, I'm doing research, and the research was like, be prepared if you're driving in Tulum that there's no real like driving laws, really. So like be careful there.
That sounds fun.
Also, always make sure that you keep your driver's license, your passport, and put like 20 bucks in like American in your passport. So if you get pulled over, because the cops will accept bribes. So if you get pulled over, you're preemptively bribing them. So usually they won't ask you for a bribe if you've already given $20 over with your passport. So I'm going into this trip assuming that I'm bribing everyone. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna be bribing anybody that I go. I was like, swindles, I'm gonna be swindled galore. People
Yeah.
are like, what you want to do is make sure that you're always bargaining. Like, if anybody gives you a price on anything, bargain them down. So we get there, and I tell Amy all of these things. I was like, I've done a ton of research. This is what we're gonna do. We go to get our car, and we see Hertz. We're like, all right, that's a place in America too. Let's go to Hertz. We go there. They're like, all right, girls, you're probably going to need an SUV if you're doing a lot of driving. This is what we recommend. This, that, and the other thing. He's like, it's going to be about $375. We look at each other. We're like, that sounds like a great price. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Zero negotiating.
Great.
Zero.
And here's an extra 20. You're like bribing them. They're like, what? You just overpaid $150 and you're giving me 29?
So right off the bat, we started getting swindled. And right off the bat, we're not negotiating shit. So it set the tone for the rest of the trip.
Because I've gone to the Philippines and you literally negotiate the cab rides.
Really?
Yeah, everything.
That's probably what you do in
They
Mexico
say a
too, and I
price,
wasn't
and
doing
so my
it.
brother. But then you'll like be like, that's only 60 miles, and then you start like breaking it down and like, and like you just go back and forth.
Oh, see, we didn't do that.
And Tulum looks like it's right below Cancun,
Yeah, it's 2 hours below Cancun. It's supposed to be like
on a couple hours above Belize.
yeah, it was supposed to be like this really cool, like hipster, artsy yoga place. Like all the influencers and famous people go there. It's like really awesome.
And was it?
Okay, so I'm driving, and we're in the car. We're driving. It's one main road. And at first I was like super nervous because I thought I was gonna be pulled over every like 30 seconds. There was cops with machine guns, like in a couple different places. Nobody had stopped us though. So we're going down, we're getting closer and closer, and we get into Tulum, the town, because there's a town of Tulum and then the beach road.
Then the beach front, yeah.
Yes. I thought, based off of me looking at maps earlier, that like the place that we were driving through was the beach town. I was like, this looks nothing like the pictures. I was like, Amy, we've made a critical mistake. I was
Yeah.
like, it was just slums. Like when I say slums, there was just
Oh,
like
yeah.
I've been in Kensington before. I've been in like some bad areas, but like I've never been like third world. And like there was just trash everywhere. The houses were just made of sticks and tarps. That's it. That's what the
That's
homes
how.
were.
So there's parts in Philippines. I mean, I would say they're more like tin roofs, but there's areas where there's trash everywhere because they can't get someone to pick up the trash. It's not like it's crazy. But did you feel so in the Philippines? Unless you're in a certain area or island, I should say, but you don't go to those islands. It's like I feel safe there. Like it was safe.
When I first got there, I was like, I do not feel safe. I was like, we are gonna die here.
Start handing out 20. Start handing out 20.
I was like, bribe all of them.
Hey, my good sir.
Because what happened too was when we were like the GPS told us to turn for the road where our condo was, and but the road was blocked. So we're like, oh, we'll just go down 2 more roads and then loop around. Horrible mistake.
Yeah.
Because now we're on back roads. They're not paved. There's just like big dips and divots. Like, no wonder they gave us an SUV. You need an SUV.
Ah.
And there was just like wild dogs everywhere and chickens. And I was like, Amy, I was like, oh my God. I was like, and we're getting closer and closer to our final destination. And I was like, this is the backyard of where we're staying. I was like, this is not good.
I can't believe you didn't say like a different price and just like look around at the other rentals. Like you were gonna just go over there just to see what they would do.
Well, we had already
Just for like fun.
yeah, just for fun.
Just to see them
Well,
like
we rented it
sweat.
through Airbnb though.
Oh, okay.
So like I already paid for it. But then we get up to the condo and it was beautiful. Like
Yeah.
5-star resort, super nice, but there were slums just surrounding it in all directions. And I was like, okay. But then you
That's
park.
so weird.
Yeah, it was so weird. You park and like maybe not in all directions. There would be like a really shitty section and then a beautiful condominium or a beautiful new house, but then slums right next to it.
I wonder if we have any Tulumian listeners.
If so, I
You're
apologize
talking
that I'm
mad
giving
shit right now.
I'm just telling it how it is. They would agree with me.
And the person with the red tarp and the stick that lived next to the resort.
They were super nice. Everybody there was super nice, but it was
now they're nice.
well, I never said they were mean. I mean, there was a lot of swindles going on. We got swindled a lot.
Swindle and swine.
Swindling all over the place. So we get to the hotel, we go to check in, and
Tulum, the home of swindle and swine.
swindle and swine. The condo was super nice. The room was really nice. There was this beautiful pool. Everything when I was inside the condo, I felt really safe. I was about to say, don't tell my parents this, but I'm saying it on the podcast. There was one night we fell asleep and we didn't realize until the next morning that the door was just completely unlocked
Really?
all night long. But we didn't get kidnapped or murdered. So
Murdered.
but I mean, it was not bad at all. Like I felt really safe inside, and there was like a lot of like other like tourists and stuff there, so that was cool.
It looked beautiful from the videos.
Yes,
I looked at each one, but you for the most part I could tell what was going on. But it was kind of, but like it looked awesome.
it was really
Like
cool.
it didn't give it justice, is what I'm saying. Whatever I was watching, I was like, oh, this looks awesome. But yeah, it looked awesome.
And
I bet I can say awesome one more time.
just one more.
Awesome.
Where our condo was about 7 minutes away from the beach, and thank God we rented a car because if you were to, they say it's a 10-minute walk is what they say. You do not want to fucking walk on that road. It's just a regular like, 1-lane road or well, 2 cars can fit on it, and everybody who is a local walks to and from work, or they're in the back of a pickup truck and there's 75 of them in the back of the truck. And so like that road's super busy with people
Why'd
walking
you say
it.
them?
Stop it. Stop.
75 of the locals. Okay.
Of the locals. So the whole time driving, I was like, first of all, and it's hot. I was like, thank God we're not walking. Thank God we got a rental car. And then we're
Yeah.
not, and people were biking along this road. And I was like, I feel like you would just get hit if you're on a bike. Nobody's getting hit though. But then you drive to the beach town and like that's really cool. It's like super artsy, very yoga-esque, like tons of like what do they call them? Beach clubs and like regular clubs.
That's fun.
They're just like, but okay, this is the next part. I was not prepared for
If the
this.
swindle don't get you, the swine will.
Literally. But wait, so I knew that there was a risk factor. I'm an AA. I am an ex-drug addict. I did my research and I know that like you can buy whatever you want at pharmacies down in Mexico.
Oh boy.
So I'm thinking, I'm preparing myself. I'm talking to my sponsor. I'm going to meetings and I'm like, okay, I know there's going to be pharmacies down here. Like I'm just putting, thought pops into my head. I'm going to say it out loud, those things. Little healthy fear stuff. I did not know that every 3 buildings was going to be a pharmacy. And those pharmacies, you can buy whatever the fuck you want to buy.
Crack?
Well, not crack. That's like a street drug. I mean, I'm talking like pharmaceuticals. Like you could get, they have
Crack?
I have a list. I have a menu that I took a picture of. You can get Xanax, you can get Tramadol, you can get anti-painkillers, oxys, you can get morphine, you can get Latisse for your eyelashes to grow. Guys can get steroids, you can get like any of those
Latisse for your eyebrows?
eyelashes and make sure eyelashes grow. Like it's weird. You need
What?
all this stuff you need prescriptions for.
I want to meet the person that could get fucking Oxycontins or something along that line. They're like, I'll take a little Latisse.
Just a little tab of Latisse.
Oxycontin, Valium, No, I'll take some Latisse, please. I was thinking about growing my muscles, but I want to grow my eyelashes
And my muscles.
and my dick and
So of course we walk in. We had to walk. You have to at least walk in.
mm-mm.
So we walk in and we're looking and like we're looking at like the menu and everything. And then it says like morphine and oxys and all these things. And we're looking and we're like, "Oh, you need a prescription for all these?" She said, "No prescription." And both me and
No prescription.
Amy's holding the menu and her hands start shaking. And I was like, "Yo, we gotta go."
Yeah.
So we leave and we walk outside and then we like talked it through. And we're like, "Look, the reason we're able to take this vacation is because we're sober, blah, 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 this, that, and other thing." And once we talked about it, we got our head. Like you could barely, like, we didn't think about it.
Let's keep testing ourselves though. We'll walk over to that bar and hold a beer. and then put it back and say this is why we're here.
Yo, the whole time I was like, if I told my sponsor what I did, she would fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She doesn't listen to this podcast.
Thank God. But it was crazy.
Nobody does.
If you want good drugs that are legal, go to Tulum. It
And
was buy one, get one free. All of them.
Everything.
Buy one, get one.
Get a little Latisse, get some steroids for free.
Anything you want.
If
It
the
was
swindler
crazy.
don't kill you, the swine will. Now, was there a lot of swine walking around?
We actually only saw one swine. There was a lot of rogue dogs though, like a ton of dogs. Like dogs were as frequent as we would see like squirrels and raccoons here, but there was no squirrels and raccoons there. It's just dogs and cats. We had a cat we
That's
named.
how Philippines is.
Is it?
Yeah.
The cat we named Senorita Gato,
Senorita Gato.
which is just Miss Cat.
Miss
And then
Cat?
there was way too many dogs to name.
Why not like Negro? Like, was it a black cat?
No, she was like
White? Blanco?
she kind of looked like your cat.
I thought you were saying she kind of looks like you.
She kind of looked like
she kind of look a little like you. Okay, like a tiger.
like a little tiger cat. Yeah.
Tigre? I
Yeah.
don't know.
So tiny too.
La
She looked
tigre
like a
gato.
kitten, but she was full grown.
I don't know.
We fed her a shrimp the one night. She liked it, but then we didn't have anything the next night. So I tried to feed her a cookie, and she was like, "Bitch, why are you feeding me a cookie?"
a cookie.
Yeah, she didn't like it.
She needs some. She's probably used to pharmaceuticals.
So the second swindle was actually the second swindle happened even after. So we got swindled for the car rental, and then immediately after, the guy was like, "Oh, here's your paperwork. All you have to do is go right there, hand that guy your paperwork, and you'll get your rental car." So I go over to this table, and this guy's like, "Oh, hola, señorita," and I give him the paper, and I was like, "One car rental, please." And he starts talking to us about I don't even know what at first. And I'm sitting there and I was just like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then I realized I was like, we're like 15 minutes into this conversation. I thought he was just giving us some tips on where to go. And then 15 minutes in, I was like, is he trying to sell us a timeshare?
Was he?
Yes.
You idiot. He said it for 20 minutes, 15.
20 minutes.
That's pretty funny.
But then it sounded really good. Like what he was saying. He was like, all you got to do.
You guys got swindled immediately. $2,000 up front? I think we can do this.
Well, he was saying we got to go to this place Ex Carta, which I've been looking up. And it's this big, huge, gorgeous resort. The pictures from day one were Ex Carta because we went. We got swindled to the timeshare. We didn't buy a timeshare, but we went. So he was like, you get to go to Ex Carta. He's like, you get breakfast on us. And he's like, you got to sit through like this presentation. He's like, you guys, are you married? And we're like, no, we're not married. He's like, are you married? And we're like, yeah, we're married. And he was like, good, then you'll get free tickets to this place, Zelha, later on if you're married. Now, Amy's pregnant, and so I was pretending I was being
I had
daddy.
that little baby in there.
Yes. So, but I played into it way too hard. Like the guy was like, clearly you guys aren't married. And I was like, come on, baby, let's go over here. Like I totally played into it. So we get swindled. We paid $40 to go to this timeshare presentation.
It was free, but he got $40 out of each of us.
40 total, 20 a piece.
All right.
So, and we're like, whatever. We had nothing planned. We did not plan anything for this trip. So, like, we're like, whatever. We'll go drive up to Ex Carta. So we go there. The place was gorgeous. They had their own signature fragrance.
Ex Carta?
Ex Carta. Oh, it's X and then Caret. Excrete or something.
Excrete?
It is the most beautiful all-inclusive resort. So if anybody wants an all-inclusive resort in the Tulum area, it's not in Tulum. It's an hour and a half away from Tulum, but it's
Wait,
really
so you had to
cool.
drive an hour and a half? So you got swindled into a long drive?
Yeah, we drove 2 hours to get to
And when you're
Tulum.
on your way, if you stop at this gas station,
Oh,
you
the
guys
gas
stop.
stations were the worst. We got swindled the worst at the gas stations. I'll tell you that next. So we get up there and it smelled
Wait, is
really
this in Playa del Carmen?
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it.
So it smelled really good when we got there, and I was like, I thought it was the guy, like the chauffeur guy, and I was like, "What kind of cologne do you have on?" I was like, "It smells really good."
It's the gasoline.
He thought I was hitting on him. I asked like 4 guys what they're wearing because I was like, "It smells so good." Realized later the hotel had its own signature fragrance.
Whoa.
See, I'm not high ends like that, so I didn't realize that it was the fragrance of the
Wait, this place
resort.
does look ballin'.
It is balling. It was so we
Is it
got
expensive?
well, we only went for the vacation plan or the timeshare things. He went over prices with us, but he was trying to sell us like hard on the timeshare. I bet you guys could go for like inexpensive for like a week, like just a visit. It's worth it. It's beautiful. But we got free breakfast and the food there. That was probably one of the best meals I had when I was there.
Wait, this is like a park with like a zip line and a
That's Zelha. I'm going to tell you about
yeah,
Zelha in
that's
a
down
minute.
there. Okay.
So Excarta, so beautiful. Everything's like on there. You're in a resort. So then we ate food. Then he took us up and toured us, showed us the room. That's Excarta. And then
But
we
can you
had
stay at Xcarta?
yes, you can stay at Excarta. You can't sell it. You can't stay at Zelha. Zelha is the amusement park for Excarta.
How much do you think it is to stay at Xcarta?
Well, I mean, when he was trying to swindle us on the timeshare, his first offer to us, because we sat there, we had to listen to his presentation. It was like an hour and a half. And we
All right, we only have 2 days left. What do you want to do now that we have our
were
own
there
time?
for 7 days. Might as well get swindled the first day.
Okay, we won't get swindled at all. Okay, for 3 hours and an hour and a half, $40 plus $62.
We got swindled immediately right off the bat. Boom, boom,
Look at
swindles.
these idiots. Here they come.
It was written on top of our heads. Swindle these girls.
I like how you're using swindle too. Like that. I've never heard anyone. I haven't heard someone say swindle maybe once this year, and you've said it like 42 times.
I'm gonna say it another 42.
You made me say it more than I've ever heard anyone in my life say it.
So we had to sit through the timeshare presentation, and I was so bored. I was just texting on my phone the whole time. And at one point, the guy goes, "I'll wait for you to be, I'll wait for you to be done texting."
I'd
And
be like, nah, go ahead, dude.
I was like, okay. And I knew I wasn't going to break. This guy was not going to talk me into a timeshare. Amy was cracking a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple times she was like, oh, that sounds good. So he presents and he goes, all right, so all you need to do is give us $7,000 today and $200 a month for the next 2 years. And I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
I was like, and we were like, no. And he was like, you don't have $7,000. I was like, dude, we're poor. I was like,
Yeah, even if you did, not for this shit, dude.
I was like, we literally just spent all of our money on this trip. I was like, you're
Yeah.
talking to 2 broke bitches right now who are on a treat yourself vacation.
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't have $7,000. At the end, because we kept saying no, he kept giving us other offers, and I'd be like, I'd lean over and he'd like whisper in my friend's ear, and I'd be like, just fucking say no.
Yeah.
And so at the end, he got us down to $1,500 down, $200 a month for the next 2 years. And then they can reevaluate in 3 years, which was actually a very low. He dropped it down low from the
Yeah,
beginning.
but it sounds like you're signed into some contract and then you're just gonna have to pay it all anyway or some shit.
Exactly. So at the end, we finally said no. And he was like, okay, well, you get your 2 free tickets to Zelha. And that's what we wanted. Zelha, 1 ticket to get in is
This is such a
200
weird concept. You just have to keep saying no, and then he's like, all right. Now you get your 2 free tickets to Zelha. Like it's like a whole new performance going on. Okay, thank you. All right, guys, get out of here. Now, if you do stumble upon that $7,000, you come back now.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I don't know how it happened.
Timeshare shit is the worst.
Yes, but we made it through. We made it through, and we swindled the swindlers because we got
I don't know about that. Oh my
We
God.
only paid $20 a piece.
That's
for
what it cost.
two-
It costs less than that to just go to Zelha. Dude.
no, I think it was $240 a ticket.
All right.
So we go to Zelha, and
How
that's
many
the same
hours did you
day.
spend? How many hours did you spend?
We got there at like 8:00 for breakfast, and we left by noon. So
All right, 4 hours.
4 hours.
All right, so
But we
250,
got
so
a breakfast.
$250, $60, $65. I don't know. Okay, $65 an hour.
It wasn't bad.
All right.
And we were able to go to Zelha. And we went to Playa del Carmen that day. So Zelha was later in the week. So we didn't do it all in the same day. But when we went there, that place was freaking so cool. There was like this lazy river through an actual cenote.
I saw that
You could
video.
cliff jump. You could do zip lines. There was snorkeling, big slides.
Show zip line again.
This is what?
Show me zip line again.
Zip line.
Zip
At one
line.
time, Amy goes to jump off this thing, and her like we had the underwater camera, like a little bag that you put your phone into. It wrapped around her neck, and I was like, it was like Final Destination shit. I was like, dude, you're about to die. She was like, help me, and I undid it. And after it, for some reason, I was like, let me take a picture.
Right before you die.
So, I have 2 pictures of Amy after she like tried to choke herself, and another time after she swallowed a mouthful of water. Swallowed a mouthful of water.
We'll
was
put these
choking.
pictures up on on the Instagram for instead of like the murder that occurred and the story, it's just gonna be Tulum, and it'll be a picture of her choking to death on water.
I gotta show you the picture. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, show me.
Okay. So that's Selha. And okay, let me tell you the gas station story. So the gas stations, this is a swindle. Anybody who's going to go to Mexico know this swindle. You go to use your card, but they don't want you to use your card. They want you to pay in American cash,
Right.
because they can lie to you about the exchange rate and take more money from you, or say, "Hey, look, there's a charge for blah blah blah."
Yeah.
So we didn't know this. So the first gas station we went to, I tried to use my card, and he was like, your card's not working. I just used it 10 minutes ago somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And all I had was American cash on me. So I said, how much do you take American? And he said, yes. And I said, how much? He said, $80. So I was like, that's so expensive. It's so expensive anyway. Cause it was like, we didn't even have an empty tank, but whatever. Gas prices are high. So I gave him a 50, a 20, and 2 10s, $80. And I go to give it to him, and then somebody else is on the other side talking
A
to
50,
us.
a 20, and 2 tons?
Yeah, it's that's $80. 50, 70. Oh no, 2 5s. I'm sorry,
Okay.
2 5s. 2
Like,
5s.
he gave
2
him
5s.
he swindled you again somehow without even trying.
Pre-swindling swindle.
He's like, please don't give me an $80 bill. You're like, no problem.
Sure
Here's
thing.
$90.
Oh my gosh.
We don't accept $80 bills.
So anyway,
I'll take a 50, a 20, and 2 10s. You're like, no problem. Thank you, kind. Man, these guys are really nice.
that's Amy.
She's dying. Oh my God. This is a blackmail picture. Lee just showed me a selfie she took of herself in scuba stuff. And then right behind her, there's a poor girl dying. Her mouth's open. And she's like just choking in the air. That's pretty funny.
Oh Lord. That's the one right before. You can tell she just swallowed a ton of water. And then the second one, she's choking.
Where's the zip line
Let me
going?
find the zip line.
We'll put these pictures up. Don't worry. I don't even know Amy.
Poor Amy. So, okay. So then the guy's like, turn on your tank. We filled your tank up. So I turned the car on. I see a full tank. And I said, yeah, it's a full tank. And I turn back around, and he shows me the money again. And he goes, something's wrong. And he shows me a $1 bill, a 20, and 2 5s. And I said, I'm not playing that game. And he was like, no, you only gave me blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I gave you a 50. I said, I'm not playing this game. And I rolled my window up and drove away.
Nice.
Yes. I was like, I'm not getting swindled from that. So I did not get swindled there. Oh, I think the picture's on Amy's phone. Yeah, I don't have the Zelha picture.
See, I wouldn't be good in that situation.
In the swindling situation?
No, like that. I would be like so upset. I'd like try to beat the guy.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just like, I was like, "I'm not getting swindled right now, dude. You're not swindling me." Because I could tell. I knew I gave him a 50. Like, if he would have asked anybody, I could see it working on other people.
Yeah.
But we noticed that the second time we went to the gas station, they did the same thing. We tried to pay in a card. We just had used that card. Um,
So maybe keep it to something like here's a 20.
yeah, or
Here's a 20 every time. Here's a 20.
yeah,
So you know, like, so they can't be like, you only gave me,
yes.
a, it's only one bill or something. I don't know.
Well, you know what, too? I think that my mom had a good point when I was telling her. She was like, "Just tell them you have no other way to pay but a card." And,
Yeah.
because then they'll probably run it again. Because I saw them Amy gave them one of her cards, they ran it, they said declined, and she goes, "Let me try another card." And he went and he switched the credit card machine to another credit card machine, and he goes, "Oh, this one's declined too." And I was like, "Well, that's weird."
Yeah.
Yeah, so always know to have them just say, "I don't have any other way to pay but credit card," and they'll probably end up working.
Yeah.
Um, so so that was a little scheme that happened. And then alright, okay, so this this is so I'm driving the whole time. There's a little like, tiny road that you're driving on, and there's a ton of people walking on it. So I was being very cautious not to hit people or cars. So one of the nights we're driving down to the Tulum beach town, and we're driving down this road, and the cops all have machine guns. So they're all just a regular like militarized cop with a huge machine gun standing on the side of the road. So we're driving and all these cars, it's like jam packed in this one area. So I go to like move my car next, and I hit somebody's mirror with my mirror.
Oh
So our
shit.
mirrors hit right in front of the police officer. And I was like, fuck. I was like, Amy, what do I do? What do I do? He saw it. Like other people saw it. And he goes like this first, like wave us over. So we start moving up. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, get the bribe ready, get the bribe ready. And he like, we kind of get close to him, and he was like, Chico Bonitas. And he was like, go ahead. And he just let us go. I was like, what?
Chico Benitez.
I was like, this is great. And I was like, we kept driving. We're like, did that just happen?
That's pretty funny.
Like, we totally smashed into this mirror. And so
Wait, whose mirror?
a random person on the side of the road.
So what happened with that person?
I don't know. They smashed a mirror now. It didn't smash. It didn't break. It just like maybe dented it. So theirs got dented. I had the rental car. The rental cars got like scraped a little bit. And the cop was just like, keep going. I don't care. And I was like, all right.
Nice.
Pays off to be a hot girl sometimes.
That's
This
funny.
is great.
That's hilarious.
So we were joking the whole time that that was a hit and run. And guess how many hit and runs I had in Mexico?
4.
No, I had 2 hit and runs.
Really?
I literally had another hit and run. Are you ready for this story? This is the
Yes.
good one. So the last day we decided we wanted to go to there's other swindling stories, but this is the best story. So
Okay.
I'll do this one. So we wanted to go, we were gonna go to Cozumel because our hotel was so cheap. We're like, oh, we can go to even though we have this through the rest of the week, let's just say, screw it, let's leave this place. Let's go to another place overnight before we have to leave for the end of our trip. So we had just thought Cozumel would be a fun place to go. But we were talking to this one girl that we met there, and she's like, no, 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 don't go to Cozumel. She's like, go to Holbox Island. It's really cool. It's like the new Tulum. It's the new like hipster spot. Everybody wants to go there right now. So we're like, fuck it, let's go. So
What's it called? Toolbox Island?
no, it's spelled Holbox. It's Isle of, I believe it's pronounced Holbox.
Holbucks.
And so they're like, you definitely need to go to this place. So we look it up. We're like, all right, let's do this thing. So I didn't want to, it was 2.5 hours away. So I didn't want to take toll roads because I didn't know how toll roads worked in Mexico. So I was like, let's take back roads.
Oh God.
Critical fucking mistake. That was
I
crucial.
love
Right
how all
there.
these critical mistakes you had.
Yes, so many, so many. So
Oh, this is above Cancun,
yes,
but it's like it's way out there. It's like a peninsula.
yep, on like a little island.
Oh, actually, it is an island. Yeah.
So the first stretch of the trip was regular roads, and then we get to this one road, and it's the middle of the jungle. Like, thank God we had a full tank of gas, but they had these topas everywhere, and a topa is a speed bump, but you don't know where they're coming from. Like, it could just be a completely flat road, and all of a sudden, topa. and like you have to like be going slow or you're gonna hit the speed bump and like bust a tire. So and then also, like, it's pretty, like, thick jungle, except for every once in a while, there might be, like, a hut or 2. Usually, the topas are close to huts, but there's wild dogs everywhere, and the wild dogs will just sleep in the road. So, like, you're, like, dodging topas, you're dodging wild
That's
dogs.
crazy.
That's where we saw the chickens and the pigs, the swine. The swines were in the jungle. And so, like, that was, like, I think it was a half an hour or 30 miles through the jungle that way. So we're 2 hours into a 2.5 hour trip to this ferry to get to this island. And, then all of a sudden, we're in this, like, town that was, like, a little bit more populated. So we saw another cop with his machine gun out. 5 cars later, I do the same fucking thing and I hit somebody else's mirror.
Really?
Swear to God. The roads were really thin. I'm driving a car that's much
Thin.
wider than
Not tight or narrow, thin.
I
Man, these
called
roads are thin,
I
dude.
called the car thick when I was out
Yeah,
there.
this is a thick ass road, boy. What do you mean? Well, 4 lanes, of course.
It's thick.
It's thick.
So I'm in this thick car on this thin road. And I hit a mirror. And Amy's like, "Are you fucking kidding me, Lee?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And people saw it again.
Why was Amy driving?
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't allowed to drive after this. She tapped me out. She was tapped in for the rest of the trip. So I hit this other mirror, and this time more people are around. We're not in like a party town. We're not in like a beach town. We're in like backwoods Mexican town. And I see this guy walk over to his car. I'm still driving because I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And she's like, keep driving, keep driving. Because I was like, I'm not gonna be able to communicate with these people. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to like
These people?
stop doing that. The natives. I wasn't gonna be able to, I don't speak Spanish. So I was like, oh no,
It
what
would
do
have
I
been great
do?
if you said I don't speak Mexican right there. So what'd you do? You drove away?
So
Well, yes, because you said second hit and run.
yeah, wait for this. So, I was like, "What do I do?" And I see this, and I look, and if the mirror would have fallen off, if it was smashed or if it was broken, I probably would have stopped. But I think the same exact thing happened. Like mine hit theirs. It wasn't a loud noise. I think they probably got like a scrape or two, and I got a scrape or two. So I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I was like, I'll deal with this with the rental car company later on, or like if the police get my license plate, like I'll deal with that. But like I was like, I can't stop and talk to locals. I'm not gonna be able to communicate with them. So we kept going and we're like 10 minutes down the road and I was like, we're talking about like, oh, did we do the right thing? Did we not do the right thing? And we're like, we're in the middle of nowhere. We don't know where we're at. Like, I think we
Someone
made the right
caught up
call.
to you?
We're driving. And in Mexico, when somebody, since there's no real like speed limits, people are constantly passing each other if they want to go around them.
Yeah.
So I was being like cautious of not speeding. And so like anytime a car would come up on me, I'd kind of pull off to the side a little bit and let them go around.
Right.
So this car pulls up behind us. It was a taxi. And I thought they wanted to get around us. And like I start slowing down. They start putting their blinkers on and like trying to like wave us over to the side of the road. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm slowed down. He pulls up next to me and he starts yelling at us to like get over. And we're like, what is happening right now? And then he gets in front of us and puts his brakes on.
Oh God.
I was like, we are going to die. My heart has never beat outside of my chest so much as it is in this moment. I was like, this is how we fucking die. This is the cartel. We're getting kidnapped right now. And I was like, I am not dying in Mexico. I was like, I will go in a high speed pursuit. And
Yeah.
there's an SUV behind us. The taxi car's in front of us. I was like, what if they have machine guns? I was like, oh my God, all these things are going through my head. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to get murdered in Mexico. And I was like, if I stop this car, I'm definitely getting murdered. So I'm going to fight. So, this
So
guy
I stopped the car. They swindled you into stopping.
they swindled me into stopping.
It's okay, Mamacita. And you're just like, okay, all right, if you say
Okay.
so. These are really polite people. They've stolen everything from me.
Broken multiple
Yeah.
windows.
Can't find my
multiple hit
credit
and
card.
runs.
Meanwhile, actually, in reality, you've been fucking up these people's property and land and
That's literally what happened. So
hoeing it up for the police officers.
hoeing it up left and right.
Hey, you're just running into shit like, hey, police, policia. They're like, oh, no problem, mamacita.
It's literally what
All right, so
happened.
what happened? So you pulled over.
No.
Uh,
So he's going really slow behind me. I was terrified. I was like, we're gonna die. We thought it was one of those things where the car slows down in front of you,
yeah, then you're
blocks you.
jammed.
Yes. And so he's still kind of driving, but we're going really slow. I start to realize that the SUV behind us was also tourists. So I was like, we're just dealing with this guy in front of us. I was like, okay. So the
Unless
SUV,
the tourists were like, hey, let's get in on
they
this.
could have been.
Let's get in on this kidnapping. Hey, guys, you want to do something a little fun tonight? Let's help this taxi driver kidnap those 2 girls. I'm going to slam the back of this car. Watch.
I'm surprised that didn't happen. I thought that was
Someone's
gonna
like,
be the next
Steve, don't. He's like, you know how many hit and runs I've been in so far since we've been here in Tulum? We can do another one.
we can do just one
I've
more.
swindled so many people today. Just jam up this car and swindle them into getting kidnapped.
So much swindling. So, and I tried to when the car was in front of me, the taxi, I tried to go around it, and it moved its car over, so I couldn't get in front of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "I'm stuck behind this car." I was like, "This is horrible." And then all of a sudden, the car behind us, he goes out to pass both of us, and I was like, "This is my opportunity."
And then you.
So I jump behind him, and both of us floor it. And like our cars were a lot better than this dude's car.
Hey, get back here.
So we just flew.
Thank God for that SUV.
But I didn't know that it was just a dead end road. Like to get to this next town where the ferry is, it's just a dead ass end. So like if he wanted to, he could have just kept chasing us and found us.
So what happened to him?
He just eventually like we got pretty far away from him and we saw him pull over and just turn around and go home.
Who was it?
I think what
A
happened.
friend of the.
I think so.
Of
Or
the
like
fr-
somebody else saw like he saw us hit this guy and was like trying to extort some money out of us or wanted us to turn around. But like we definitely only clipped a mirror.
Can you get into fist fights in Tulum and not end up in a Mexican prison?
I have no idea. It's lawless. I feel like there's not a lot of laws to be abided by there. So like it's like I mean a cop saw me hit a car and was just like, "Go ahead, baby."
Yeah.
Like, you don't know. Like, it depends on what their mood is. We did get we got swindled by a toll driver, like, because on the way back, we went toll roads because I didn't wanna go we had to go back through the same town. We went back through the same town the next day. I wasn't driving though. But we did tolls and we only had American cash on us. We thought we had enough pesos, but we didn't. So he was like, "Pull over," and we're like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna have to do to get through this toll?" And
For you listening at home, I gave Lee some eyes. Like you might have to do something.
I was like, "Amy, just give me a 20."
Go ahead. Sorry, I just thought of something.
So the toll was supposed to be like 300 pesos, which is like less than or like maybe $12 or something.
$10 or something.
Yeah. And I was like, just give me so we gave him a $20 American. We're like, keep the change and let us go through.
That's for you, my friend.
Yes.
Did you see We're the Millers?
Yeah.
Or Meet the Millers or something?
Yeah.
Do you remember right when they leave the drug dealer's house?
No.
What's his face? That actor. He's in so much stuff. They're in Mexico. He pulls them over, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're getting pulled over." And he's like, he wants a bribe, and he wants like
the blowjob.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna need 1,000. And he's like, 1,000? He's like, we don't have 1,000. He's like, and then he's telling Jennifer Aniston to go suck his dick.
Yes.
So they can get over. And he's like, I like males or something. And then he tells the dude, the kid Kenny, he's like, just pretend it's like a girl dick, and it could be any dick you want. And he's like about to do it, and then they figure out that he meant like 1,000 pesos,
which is like
80. He's like, oh, 1,000. He's like, pesos. He's like, well, like $70, $80. He's like, here's 100. Keep change. He's like, thank you.
It's amazing.
And then they're running away. He's like, I can't believe you're gonna suck that guy's dick, Kenny.
That movie is pretty good. It's pretty accurate.
I would just be nervous that if I felt like I was getting if someone was like swindling me too much or like trying too hard, like especially the gas station thing would piss me off. Like if I handed someone like a 50 and a 20 and they're like, hey, you only handed me a 5 and a 20, I'd be like, it wouldn't be like, nice try, dude. I'd be like, well, Pam, like punch him right in his face.
Yep. Don't go to the ruins then. We got swindled really bad at the ruins.
All you did was get swindled.
The whole trip was a big swindle. We get there and we pull in and they're like, everybody's swindling. It's overwhelming. Like everyone wants to sell you something. So at the ruins, we pull in, they're like, come here. And we thought it was a check-in for like the national.
Why do you think everything's something else? Well, this guy's really nice. This must be the Hertz intro to the car keys.
'Cause we're just so
20 minutes
dumb.
in. So the timeshare will start at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
It's literally what happened at the ruins. He was like, you could pay $10 for the regular entrance fee, but you'd have to walk 20
It sounds
minutes.
scary to me down there.
It was. But you'd have to walk 20 minutes down this road and wait another 20-minute line, and then you get to the
It's like a
entrance.
game show.
Yes.
It's like Oregon Trail. You can wait 20 minutes and go that way, or you can pay $5 now and go 6 minutes that way.
We ended up buying the one that was $70 a piece.
Oh my god!
And it included.
It included, of course it did. Of course, it included all these perks. But this one included a free.
Listen to this. It included a bus ride down the road.
Yeah.
And then you go down, you get a guided tour through the ruins. And then when you're done, you go down the playa, the beach, and the boat takes you out into the like this coral reef and you go
It
snorkeling.
dumps your body into the water.
You know what we
For an
got?
extra $20, we'll just push you into the water and you can figure it out from there.
The bus never came. We walked.
Yeah,
10
there is no
minutes.
bus. Like, guess what?
There was,
Guess what? There's no bus. They just made an extra.
there was no guided tour.
No.
We just walked around ourselves. And then we got to the playa, and that was the only thing that was accurate. So we paid $75 just to go on a boat ride and then snorkeling. But there was manta ray, or there was stingrays and
The
turtles.
snorkeling's cool. Snorkeling in the Philippines was awesome. Like out of this world.
Oh, I bet. Was
Like
it crystal clear?
1,000 fish. And I'm like, they're like right here.
Whoa.
And I like put my hand out and they all like,
So
and then they
cool.
come back. The funniest story I had in the Philippines that I thought was the funniest was it was when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So 2018? What am I, an idiot? 2018, right?
Sounds right.
But for some reason in my head, I was thinking 17.
I don't know why.
But so whatever, we were there when they played the Vikings, and it was the day before. And we have motorcycles.
Yeah.
And when you're in the city, you're supposed to wear your helmet.
Oh.
And we were at this one bar. I mean, but it's like a bar restaurant, but it was like open, and they were showing the American games because it's a 12-hour difference.
Yeah. Oh.
So like everything was like different timing, and everything was like messed up. Like when we watched the Vikings game, it was like 7 in the morning
Whoa.
instead of like 8 at night or
that
whatever.
must have been so weird.
We had to wake up early. I woke us up at like the Patriots game was on before.
Yeah.
And also your sleep's all fucked up. So I woke up at like 4:30 and I was like, but like had plenty of sleep. And I was like, the Patriots are on. Like, I was like, I want to watch that game. And then I'll go right in. But so we were somewhere and I left. And usually we weren't going through the city part, but the Philippines is pretty chill. But I went through the city and there was like 8 cops near this highway. And I wasn't even thinking. And they were like, pull over. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I was like, I forgot the fucking helmet. And like, I was like, and like, it's not like down there in
Yeah.
Mexico. It's not at all. So they came up and like, they also like, everyone's very nice over there. And also like, I'm bigger than a lot of people.
Oh.
And also like, I'm white. So like, everybody wants to come over and like kind of talk.
Oh.
So like, I'm not joking when I say like 8 people were patrolling this highway or bridge, cops, and they all came over to my bike. I was like, oh my God, they're all coming over. And they all came over and the sergeant was like, hey, where's your helmet? And I was like, I know, I left it in the hotel. And they were like laughing and this and that. He's like, someone was like, how tall are you? And I was like 5'10". And then somebody, like, I was like, you got a big nose. And they were like, because they're very like blunt, but like funny and this and that.
Yes.
So like I'm talking to all of them and whatever. And he's like, all right. And I was like thinking I was gonna have to pay some fine or they were gonna give me a ticket. He's like, all right. He was like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm staying around the corner at whatchamacallit. We're going over here. And he's like, all right. He's like, well, when you're in the city limit, I was like, I know. I was like, I was going on that back road. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you should probably have a helmet on anyway. But like, if you're in the city limits, make sure you wear your helmet. I was like, all right, no problem. So I went back to my hotel and went the long way to go back past them with my helmet on. And I'm driving back over this little bridge. There's like cars and stuff and whatever. And I slow down and just hold my horn down. And they all look and I point at my helmet and they're like, yeah. They all just start cheering.
Amazing.
Look, I have like 9 cops just cheering that I wore my helmet.
So amazing.
It was so funny. It's so fun, like traveling.
Traveling is so much fun. I'm gonna be doing so much more of it.
It can be scary in certain areas, but it is like, that's the other thing was like we'd go out in these motorcycles and my brother had a moped. One day we went out and we were just pulling over and going into each beach and whatever, and we were like 2 hours away from where we were. And I was telling someone just yesterday, I was like, there's not a gas station every 5 minutes. Like you have to stop if you see there's gas and you have like a half a tank, you have to stop and get gas because you don't know when the next one's going to be.
Whoa.
So you just got to like fill up whenever you can.
Yeah.
But so we're driving and like night fell and we realized my brother's headlight didn't work.
Oh no.
And we were still like an hour away. And it was like, it was dark.
Yeah.
So he drove and I drove right behind him and we were both using my headlight.
Oh my god.
And it was like a mission to get home safely.
Yup.
And it's like, at the time you're like, okay, if something happens, this sucks. But like, you're like, we'll figure it out. Like, you'll get back. And then it's like it becomes a story.
Yup.
This is the only thing I'll say, only because this is the only thing I can compare your Mexico trip to. I like hooked up with a girl and she was like, come on, let's go back to like your place or whatever. But I didn't want to take her back there because number one, it was a little farther away. But also, I just didn't want her. I'm always like,
swindle.
I don't want to get swindled. I don't want her to like. I don't want it to lead to something else. Now she knows where someone is. Not that everybody's like that over there. Not even at all. Not even a little. But just in case.
Yeah.
But so then she was like, "Oh, well, why don't you get like a hotel room or something?" I was like, "All right." And then she was like, "Here, I know a hotel room or like a hotel." I'm like, "Okay." And then we just started walking down some weird alley, and I like know I'm in a safe place, but we're walking down an alley, and then she's like talking to someone in Tagalog. So that a lot of people know English, but they also know Tagalog or some kind of dialect of that.
Yeah.
And it's impossible if you don't know Tagalog, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like Spanish where you might pick up a word or two and not know any Spanish, and you're still like, so like whatever. And then I'm like, what the hell's going on? Is she telling them where we're going? Is this a fucking, is this a swindle? So we get to the room and I grill her. I'm like, yo, who was that dude? And she's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, who the fuck was that? And like, I get like real serious with her. And she's like, no, I swear to God, like, I'm not trying to do it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, just so you know, if anything happens and that guy reappears and is coming in the room, I'm gonna fuck everyone up. That's what I was telling her before we like hooked up. And she was like, no, like I was saying it like nicely, but also extremely serious like that. And she was like, no, I swear. I know I've known him for a while. Like it's not like a thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm just letting you know. And then I went and put a chair underneath the fucking.
Oh my God, you would do that.
I know.
You would do that.
Yeah.
So amazing. So did the guy come back?
No, we hooked up and then, then we hung out for a little bit longer.
And that girl was like,
and then we were like
dancing
and then
again.
like, yeah. It was fine. She was never. We're gonna hang out again anyway. Just see you next Wednesday. No, but I was more concerned at that. I was like excited to hook up, and then I was like, then I turned on my crime brain, and I was like, I'm gonna fuck everyone up.
Yep, I'm not dying today.
Yeah, I'm not dying over this.
Oh my God,
you're not that hot, sweetie. I'm not dying over you.
Nope.
But then I was like, man, I just really want to beat this guy's ass.
And then you go out to the alley, you find him anyway, and you just beat him up. You looked at my girl wrong.
Either the swindle or the swine, my friend. He's like, what?
Excuse me, sir? Yeah, you heard me, swindle and swine.
Please, I make no money. Just beating him like a pulp. Jesus Christ. All right, that's the story of Tulum.
The story of Tulum.
With a little Philippines in the end.
Yes.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thanks. We'll come back with another.
Thanks.
Oh, I think I have Mexican COVID too. That's why. No, I tested myself. No Mexican COVID.
That's how we started the whole story.
Mexico. What did we call it again?
Mexivid.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Patient
that.
zero.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Listen to the next episode. It might have to do about crime.
Yeah, that one we'll definitely have to do about crime. my turn.
No. Let's. I think it's fine.
Okay, and we just go into this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back to the podcast.
So today I'm going to be talking about. Wait, you got to
Hey,
guess.
what's up with your voice?
Oh yeah, Mexican COVID
Oh,
still.
Mexican.
Mexican
Like
COVID.
Mexican? I don't know.
Mexican
Maybe you're
COVID.
patient zero. We just
Pa-
start the same exact.
Yep, patient zero got bit by 2 monkeys, 1 swine.
Did you hear about swine?
It was definitely the swine.
A swindle.
Got swindled and swined. So I'm going to do a true crime case. It's an old timey one.
Ooh.
It's from like the late 1800s, turn of
Late-
the century. Guess who I'm doing?
What state? World's Fair.
Kansas.
Kansas?
It's in Kansas.
Okay. I don't know. I need more info. Is it oh, it's the family.
Tell me more.
Yeah, but every time I guess, I give
You
away.
do the whole thing.
then-
Yes,
and then-
you're
and
right. I'll tell the
Yeah,
story.
and then the people don't know. The
yeah, then
people
they
are
turn
like,
off the podcast
yeah,
because they're like, we know
this
that.
podcast sucks.
Yeah, your podcast is so bad.
You
Okay.
just listen to that last bullshit about swindle and swine, and now you just said the whole episode in 20 seconds.
And that's it, guys. Have a good night.
That's my thing. I highlight things real quick. That's why I like doing the movies thing that we haven't done in a while, because I can just get the highlights out.
Okay.
It's about a family of swindlers.
Wait, talk for a minute, sorry, because I have to send this text message.
You're not supposed to tell the listeners.
I'm sending a text message, listeners. It's
You're
crucial.
not supposed to. All right.
Okay, so we're doing the story.
Just send the text message.
Okay, I can't multitask. There's a couple things in life I don't know how to do. I
A
can't
couple?
text and talk at the same time.
You can barely say words. Right, Ryan?
Oh, I wonder what my sister's gonna hear off
It's
this
time for
episode.
Christy's Corner. Today, Christy's thinking about, why didn't I get invited to Tulum? These bitches are really not my
She
friends.
got invited. She has those 2 little cute
Hey,
little babies.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
she's still
sorry.
thinking it.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
She's still thinking it. And that was another episode of Christy's Corner. Yeah, I know she's got babies. I mean, I really forgot, but actually, because I don't know her, but that's what she was thinking.
Yeah, we invited her. She was part of the crew. She couldn't go because the 2 little cutie pie babies.
Oh,
She said maybe next time. Okay, so today I'm telling the story about the Bender family, the Bloody
Ooh.
Benders.
The Bloody Benders. Swindlers of the past.
They were swindlers.
Swine of the future.
Ooh. Okay, so these swindlers were a family of serial killers who lived and operated out of
Their house in Kansas.
Labette County, Kansas.
Labate or Labatt?
It's Labette.
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 No, I have no clue. It's probably not whatever you said, just because I feel like you don't know words sometimes.
I don't know words a lot of times. Okay, so
I'll look it up.
yeah, please look it up for me. So this happened in the time frame of like 1871 to 1872. So the family consisted of John Bender, his wife Elvra. I'm going to say all these names wrong, by the way, because normally I look up how to pronounce them beforehand and I still get them wrong. But this time I did not look it up. I looked this up 2 weeks ago and we didn't do the podcast. We didn't record it. They had a son named John Jr. and a daughter, Kate. So a lot of people say Lebet.
Laybet.
Okay.
Laybet.
Lebet.
Laybet. Laybet.
So a lot of people retelling the story have said that John and Kate were siblings, but contemporary news reporters and several of the like Bender's neighbors stated that they were probably married.
Johnny Kate plus 8.
Yes. And so it was like, so they could have been siblings or they could have been married. So, or it could have been like incest.
That's a big could have.
Yeah. So like who knows, but like still weird. So,
is that your sister or your wife? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares?
so
Who knows? Some days it's one, some days it's the other. I don't really know. Like what? Why was nobody else trying to figure this shit out?
What's that?
Why that would have been my number one thing to figure out for the week.
Same with me. Are they brothers or are they married?
Yeah,
Siblings are married.
I would have been going around all around town.
Yup. Same with me. So guess how many? Well, I guess we can't guess because this says there was no definitive number.
32.
Estimates report that the Benders killed at least, what did you say, 32?
Yeah.
At least a dozen travelers before their crimes were discovered.
Ooh.
Oh, and it's interesting too, because you were right. You guessed this when I was telling you, like giving you clues the other day, that nobody knows what happened to the family.
They got away.
They got away. So there's a lot of theories that were saying that they did get caught and they were lynched. And the others are saying that the family did successfully escape. But there's like a lot of folklore and legend around it. So it makes it really like difficult to like separate like fact from fiction on this case. So there's a lot of artistic liberties when people are telling the story. So keep that in mind.
I just want to take a second. The motive for an episode 22 that we did was money. What if we just did that every time? I don't even know what episode 22 was.
Look it up. Look it up because what if it fits?
What? It was money.
It was money.
Guys, I don't know how many episodes you listen to ours, but we had an episode where we forgot to tell the motive until like the next episode.
It was like
So
4
today,
episodes
it's like
later.
a running joke now that we forget to tell the motives.
Now we gotta look this up. You look it up while I
All
keep
right.
reading.
Motive for episode.
That was such a good bring back.
That was like a year ago that we did that episode.
I was like, oh, I forgot to say the manner of death. It was hammer to the back of the head.
The best was Becky wrapping up the Papin sisters because it was like a conclusion that she didn't write. So it was like some say that the Papin sisters were
Both
mad because of money.
Both we're like, why would you put that?
Yeah.
That should have been in the beginning of the episode.
That money was a motive.
Okay. So this is I'm gonna give you some background. October it's like around fall 1870. 5 families of spiritualists.
Oh shit.
What was it? What was it? What was it?
Episode 22, but it's a two-parter. So 21 and 22. John Edwards Robinson.
Wait, that's the one
It
we
is.
got wrong. That was the one we never gave the motive of death for.
Nuh-uh.
Yes. And
But-
the motive
and it
was
was
money.
money. Nuh-uh.
So it kind of makes sense.
Wait, you didn't give that motive a
No, I kept
motive-
saying that
the
he
motive?
kept putting their bodies in barrels, but I never
Yeah, you didn't say why. And he was stealing money from them.
he was
Yo,
stealing
that's hilarious that actually made sense. Well, now you guys got the motive. John Edwards Robinson. It's a two-parter, episode 21 and 22. And that's right. The motive was money. Also from Kansas. Oh, that's crazy. I brought it up Kansas.
Yes. And if you listen to what episode podcast we're on right now?
45 or 6.
So if you listen to episode 60, we'll probably give you another clue about the John Edward Robinson's case.
We're just going to keep going back to that one.
The cause of death was hammered to the back of the head. Motive, money. Okay. So back to the Bloody Benders. So October 1970, there was a lot of like homesteads around there. So this one had 5 different families. At this time, it was like that Victorian era where everybody was into spiritualism, like Ouija boards and like the ghosts and the occult and all that
And they
stuff.
still make Ouija boards today.
Tell them that story.
No.
God damn it, Jesse.
We're going too off topic.
Okay.
All right, fine. Real quick. We went down to Cape May for a ghost tour. And it was the last ghost tour of the night. And when I say ghost tour is very loosely worded. We went to an old house that probably was haunted or looked haunted, but she walked us into different rooms and told us like possibilities of things. Like we thought she was going to be like, this is where Mary strangled her sister or something like that. And then she started telling us about Ouija boards and how Ouija boards are still around. I think I made most of this Ouija board thing up, but like the running joke is that she just like didn't have anything to tell us and was talking about Ouija boards. And we're like, this is not why we did a ghost tour. Like we can go into a Walmart and get a Ouija board if we wanted to and play with it. We wanted to know about the ghosts in this house.
We get there.
Well, no, and then anything we asked, like anything serious, like, oh, did anyone die in this house? And they're like, it was very likely. And we're like, what? And then like any other question we ask, they'd be like, well, we usually talk about that on the daytime tour. And we're like, well, just tell us.
My
Just
favorite.
tell us.
We get there and we were talking to the lady and we're like, "Oh man, how long have you worked here?" She's like, "Oh, at least 10 years." And we're like, "Oh, you must have seen so many ghosts." She was like, "Yeah, I've seen a ton of ghosts." We're like, "Tell us one of your experiences." She's like, "There's way too many to
Way too
tell."
many to talk about.
We're like, "Give us one."
The very last room we were in, there was like a hair doll with some hair or some
Yes.
shit. And that's when I think it was a combination of all of us. We were just like fed up with this. We were like, what's with the hair dolls? We asked like some dumb question that we didn't even really matter. And she was like, well, that's for the daytime tour. And we were just like, just tell us what is up with this hair doll. Like, she was like, okay, well, and like she told us.
Yep.
And then do you remember the bed in there?
No.
There was a bed. And I was like, is this bed back? I was asking, we're just
Yeah.
asking random questions at this point, being serious. But we kind of knew. I felt like we're like kind of serious, kind of bullshitting with her. I was like, is this bed from back in the 1800s? And she was like, well, it would have looked similar to this, but this was actually from a couple of years ago or something like that.
This was a
And
professional
it was like, yeah,
remake.
it was almost like we were trying to bait her into like sounding like more of a moron at one point.
Dude, no. Remember the Ouija board? It was just a regular cutting board that they used Sharpie on.
Yeah, they just wrote on it.
Yeah, and it was like the worst Ouija
This is
board.
what you would call a Ouija board. And then I always like to add, like, and they still make Ouija boards today. Like it's some great fucking thing they have in there. All right, so back to John Edwards Robinson.
Murder was the motive, or money was the motive. All right, so we're talking about the Benders.
Every time we come back, you're like, back to the bloody Benders. Okay, we're talking about the Benders.
So like this family and 5 other families lived on this like pretty heavily open road where like people who were traveling out west would pass on this road. So it was like a road out west. There was a cabin, a barn with a corral, and like a couple other little spotted things around, like spotted little houses. Um, Elvira Bender and her daughter Kate arrived. The cabin was divided into 2 rooms by a canvas wagon cover. So the Benders used the smaller room at the rear for living quarters, while the front room was converted into a general store, where they sold like a few dry goods, and like some other things for like travelers on their way. They could stop there for a meal. They could spend the night. And
Stop there for a meal, you say?
oh yes, or maybe some other fun activities, whatever they wanted.
I just feel like that was the thing, right?
Yeah, prostitution. They were prostitutes.
Oh no, I didn't mean that.
What did you mean?
I felt like, well, I don't want to ruin it, but I feel like when people went to sit down for the meal,
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
like
yes.
that
was the manner of death, but we won't tell that until episode 61.
true. The manner of death was stopping by for a meal. I don't think that's correct, but okay. Manner of death. Your Honor, clearly they stopped by, the manner of death is they stopped by for a meal. Hot soup, Your Honor. Hot soup.
Maybe I should say that's how they lured him in.
Yes, that would be more accurate.
That's how they lured him in.
That's the manner of death. A meal,
A meal.
not an axe to the head.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the
Someone's just dead on the ground with an axe in their head. And an investigator walks over. He's like, looks like he stopped for a meal. looks like he had a little porridge, is what I would say is the manner of death.
Clearly, the manner of death. All right, so
All
back
right,
to the
back to the
Benders.
Benders.
So, John Bender Sr., he was 6 years old. He spoke a little bit of English. What little he did speak was like super like guttural and unintelligible. So like you couldn't communicate with this man. So Elvra, who was the wife, also spoke a little bit of English. She was 55 years old and she was super unfriendly, so unfriendly that her neighbors took to calling her she devil. So like everybody hated this woman. She was
Wow.
not well received. John Bender Jr. was around 25 years old. He was super handsome. He had auburn hair, he had a mustache. He spoke fluent English and he had a German accent. John was prone to laughing aimlessly, which led many to consider him a half-wit. And Kate, either the sister or the wife, were unsure. It's unclear. She was around 23. She was cultivated and attractive. She spoke very well English with a little bit of an accent. She was a self-proclaimed healer and psychic. She just distributed flyers and advertised her supernatural powers and her ability to cure illnesses. She also conducted seances and gave lectures on spiritualism, for which she gained notoriety for advocating like free love. Um, and Kate's popularity became like a super large attraction at the Bender's Inn. So it was like luring people there. They wanted to like see that. Um,
Isn't John Bender the name? It is John Bender's Breakfast Club. Bender, Judd Nelson. The don't you
oh,
forget about me at the end with the fist,
yes, the muscle guy, right?
the muscle guy, like the
Yeah,
punk, the badass dude.
yeah, the badass guy.
It's John Bender.
Wait,
It's
no, not the
John.
leather jacket guy, the jock, right?
No, the jock's Emilio Estevez.
Oh,
No, the leather jacket.
Oh,
guy.
his real life name's John Bender.
No, his real life name's Judd Nelson. In the movie, his name's John Bender. I'm pretty sure it's John Bender.
Oh,
Definitely Bender.
interesting. Did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Facts only Jesse Bradley would know.
Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall, Paul Gleason was the principal.
There we go.
And
I don't know the girl who in Pretty in Pink.
yes, what's her name?
Dottie McFarland.
Dottie McFarland?
I'm just making a name up. I have no. I don't know.
Who are we gonna get for this movie? What about Dottie McFarland? Sounds good. She's on top right now.
I don't know that girl's name.
Dottie McFarland? Was she your grandmother's friend?
That was just a name.
Dottie McFarland sounds like she's playing like backgammon somewhere. Some shit.
That's what I was thinking. It was an old timey
Dottie
name.
McFarland. Well, she's not. It's from the 80s. She's not old timey. Dottie McFarland. Dottie McFarland sounds like you went to go see your grandma at her assisted living, and she was like, "My friend Dottie McFarland just died."
Oh my god, it's so
Her
accurate.
name's Molly Ringwald. Dottie McFarland. We're never gonna get through this episode. I should have never brought up Breakfast Club. I'm interested. I do believe his first name is John, though. I'm pretty sure. Definitely Bender.
Okay, back to the Benders. Oh, I don't even know where I was at. Okay, Kate was known for free love, spiritualism, and seance.
Who gives a shit? dude?
Dottie McFarland was known for spiritualism.
Man, this Dottie is a good actress. It's old timey.
So old.
1920s Breakfast Club, the original Breakfast Club, starring Dottie McFarland, the original Breakfast Club. It's been remade 3 times. Finally, in 1985, Molly Ringwald starred in the starring role that Dottie McFarland made popular. This Dottie's gonna go far.
I
That'd be
imagine,
great, too.
imagine her in a green dress with like red curly haircut.
Yeah, in the 20s, and it's the same bullshit. There's fucking detention. There's wrestling. The guy's a wrestler. Someone's smoking weed. Same bullshit.
That's your next movie, Jesse. Starring Dottie.
What, an original Breakfast Club from the 20s? It would be so bad. It'd be the worst fucking. Okay, I adopted the Breakfast Club to a play called The Breakfast Club, 1920s version,
Dottie McFarland.
and they talk in the old timey voice.
Hey there, do you want to go to detention with me, big fella?
You listen here, Dottie, and you listen good. We got to cut all this out.
Okay, back to the Benders. So The mom and dad really, like, nobody liked, but Kate and her brother were, like, super popular in the town, and they regularly attended Sunday school in Harmon Grove.
Yeah, I'm just picturing them as Breakfast Club.
I know, right?
The super popular kid.
Um, the Benders were widely believed to be German immigrants. No documentation.
Nobody knew.
Nobody fucking knows. There's no documentation or
Are they
no
brothers or
definitive proof.
sisters? Are they a brother and a sister or fucking? We don't know. Are they German or French or
They're
Spanish?
they have
We don't
German
know.
descent.
I know.
Oh.
I'm just saying nobody knows what's
Nobody
going on.
knows. Nobody knows. Um, yeah, so there's no documentation of their relationship to one another or where they were born, and it's never been found. So John Bender Sr. was from either Germany, Norway, or the Netherlands, as thought at that time. Um, and he, according to newspapers, Elvra was born in Almera Hill Mark. Oh, that was her actual name, Almera Hill Mark. And she was born. I'm just literally reading this copy and pasted paragraph. I apologize, guys.
Originally, she was born in. Oh, this is her name.
Oh, this is interesting. She apparently married this guy, Simon Mark, with whom she claimed to have had 12 children.
Oh,
12 kids. Fuck, now I lost my place. Okay, Jesse, get in there.
get him where?
I don't know. I lost my spot. I have to find it.
Why
So
don't you lose
talk.
your spot when I'm doing all my bits?
Okay, so oh, this is
Ah,
interesting. So Elvra was actually suspected to have murdered one of her several husbands before she got to this town.
I was gonna say when you said 12 kids, I was gonna say I bet they didn't all make it out.
It seemed as if the kids did, but the husbands didn't.
Huh.
Oh, it says she murdered several husbands, but none of these rumors were ever proven. Kate was believed to be Elvra's fifth daughter. Some of the Benders' neighbors claim that John and Kate were not brother and sister, but actually husband and wife, like we talked about. So a little bit of both, sister wives, brother wives.
And they were Brazilian.
Yeah, and the manner of death was eating my food.
Soup.
Soup. Um, So, okay, so by a lot of these articles back in the day, they have said that the old man was repulsive and was a hideous brute without a redeeming trait at all. He was dirty, profound, profane, and ill-tempered. So nobody liked the older two, the older man and woman.
Profound or profane?
Profane,
Or both?
profane,
Okay.
profane, not profound.
He's
Listen to
very
this one.
profound, but he's
He's profane but profound.
Yeah.
Listen to this one. Old Miss Bender was a dirty old Dutch crone. That's what one of the newspapers reported her as. Her face was a fit picture of the midnight hag that wove the spell's murderous ambition about the soul of Macbeth. So I don't know what the hell that means.
I gotta look this up.
Oh my god, this is what they said about her too. Young Bender, seen when excited, recalled the grave robbing hyena at once to her mind. Kate proclaimed to herself, I don't know what the hell any of this means. Pretty much the old two were hags and nobody liked them. The younger girl, Kate, she was said that she was into like spiritualism and she was a medium. We already talked about that. She gave lectures. She was advocated free love. She denounced all social regulations and promoted the purity and prevention of carnality. I don't even know what that is. Um, she maintained carnal relations with her brother. So it does say that it was her brother and she was having sex with him, and boldly proclaimed her right to do it in the following words found in a lecture manuscript. Shall we confine ourselves to a single love and deny our natures their proper sway? Even though it be a brother's passion for his own sister, I say it should not be smothered. So they were doing some incest.
Yeah, there's a movie called Bender,
Oh, we should watch it.
and at least one of the guys looks a little notable.
Okay. All right. So should I talk about deaths?
Yeah, if you want to.
In May 1971, the body of a man named Jones was found. his skull was crushed and his throat cut. He
Ugh.
was discovered in Drum Creek. The owner of the Drum Creek claimed, the owner of Creek claim was suspected, but no action was taken. February 1972, the bodies of two men were found who had had the same injuries as Jones. And in 1973, a year later, reports of missing people who had passed through the area had become so common that travelers began to avoid the trail. So a lot of word was getting around about this. The area was widely known for horse thieves and villains, and vigilante. A lot of vigilantes like arrested some of like the villains or these horse thieves, and some of them were like blamed for the disappearances, only to be later released by authorities. So a lot of people were arrested for this, but they were never found to be suspicious of killing anybody.
Hmm.
Okay, so in the winter of 1972, George Newton Longcore left Independence, Kansas, for with his infant daughter Mary Ann to resettle in Iowa. They were never seen again. In the spring of 1873, Longcore's former neighbor, Dr. William Henry York, went looking for them and questioned homesteaders along the trail.
And then
Doctor,
he went missing.
I think he does. Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it says
Or
doc.
something, I think.
Let's find
There
out.
was like a weird thing. Oh, wait. Well, whenever it came to an end, there was like a weird thing that happened.
You're right. This next sentence says it. Dr. York reached Fort Scott and on March 9th began the return journey to Independence, but never returned home.
Wait a second. So Independence is, I guess, like we don't know towns like this over there, but like Independence is big. Independence, if you remember, when I looked up these ratings or whatever for at one point, we had listeners in Independence, Kansas. And
No.
that's why we did the John Edwards Robinson case, because it was like in the title I just looked, it said this is for our listeners in Independence, Kansas.
That's so
I
funny.
know.
All right, we're back again and we tied it to this guy already.
I know, it's crazy.
That is crazy. Wow. Okay. So,
Crazy, guys. Isn't that fucking crazy,
it's
guys?
so crazy. So Dr. York had two brothers, Ed York living in Fort Scott and um Alex York, a Civil War veteran, lawyer, and member of the Kansas State Senate. Oh, so they're fucking with the wrong person right here. A lawyer, Civil War vet, and member of the Kansas State Senate from Independence, who in November 1872 had been instrumental in exposing U.S. Senator Samuel C. somebody for bribery. So he's a big time politician. Both knew of Williams' travel plans.
Yeah, that's what it was, is he like made people privy to what was going on, whereas in the past people were just like
They didn't
traveling through.
know.
So it was a big deal when he went missing.
Yup. So, pretty much, when the brothers knew when he failed to return, an all-out search began for the missing doctor. The one brother, the lawyer brother, leading a company of some 50 men, questioned every traveler along the trail and visited the area's homesteads one by one.
Wow.
March 1873, York arrived at the Bender's Inn with Mrs. Johnson, explaining to them that his brother had gone missing and asked if they had seen him. They admitted that Dr. York did stay with them and suggested a possibility that he had run into trouble with Indians. Okay. Lawyer brother York
But
agreed.
he doesn't know any Indians.
Right? Manner of death was hammer, and they put him in the barrels and buried them in John Edward Robinson's backyard.
Right.
Um, so York agreed that that was a possible. The lawyer brother agreed that that was possible for that time. And they asked him to stay for dinner.
Yes. Okay.
So April 3rd, lawyer brother York returned to the inn with armed men after being informed that a woman had fled from the inn after Elvra Bender had threatened her with knives. Elvra allegedly could not understand English, while the younger Benders denied the claim. So now it's getting a little suspicious. The lawyer brother York repeated the claim. Elvra became enraged, said that the woman was a witch who had cursed her coffee and ordered the men to leave her house. revealing for the first time that her sense of the English language was what much better than she let on.
Mm.
Interesting. Before York left, Kate asked him to return alone the following night, and she would use her clairvoyant abilities to help him find his brother. The men with York was traveling with were convinced that the Benders and a neighboring family. Wait. The men with York were convinced that the Benders and a neighboring family, the Roaches, were guilty and wanting to hang all of them. But York insisted that evidence must be found because he was a lawyer. So he
Mhm.
wanted to do things by the law. Around that same time, neighboring communities began to make accusations against the Osage community. That's the neighborhood that they all lived in, and saying that they were responsible for all these disappearances. Osage Township arranged a meeting in a Harmony Grove schoolhouse. 75 locals attended the meeting, including this lawyer York guy and both John Bender Sr. and Jr. After discussing the disappearances, including that of William York, they agreed to obtain a warrant to search every homestead between Big Hill Creek and Drum Creek. Despite York's strong suspicion regarding the Benders, since his visit several weeks earlier, no one had watched them. And it was not noticed until several days later that they had fled. So the
Mm.
Benders knew that they were going to get searched and they all pieced the fuck out.
Yeah.
3 days later, after the township meeting, Billy Toll was driving cattle past the Bender property when he noticed that the inn was abandoned and the animals were unfed. Toll reported the fact to the township trustee, but due to inclement weather, several days lapsed before the abandonment could be investigated. The township trustee called for volunteers. Several hundred people turned out to form a search party that included the lawyer brother York, whatever, William's brother. When the party arrived at the inn, they found that the cabin was empty of food, clothing, and personal possessions. So the Benders pieced the fuck out. A bad odor was noticed and traced to a trap door under the bed, and it was nailed shut. After opening the trap, the party found clotted blood on the floor of an empty room underneath, 6 feet deep and 7 feet square, on top of 3 feet square bottom. They broke up the stone slab floor with sledgehammers. They found no bodies and determined that the smell was blood that had soaked into the soil. The men then physically lifted the cabin and moved it to the side to dig underneath of it, but no bodies were found. So nothing was found under the cabin. Then they probed the ground around the cabin with metal like rod, especially in disturbed soil areas and vegetable gardens and the orchard. That's where Dr. York's body was found later that evening,
Mm.
buried face down with his feet barely below the surface. The probing continued until midnight with another 9 suspected grave sites marked before the men were satisfied that they had found all of the people that were buried there. The next morning, 8 more bodies were found. 7 of the 9 suspected. Oh, no, they marked other places where they thought bodies were going to be. And the next morning, they dug them up and they
Yeah.
found 9 more bodies. Um, while none was found in the well, I guess that was what they're calling the thing under. Oh, there was a well on the property too.
Yeah.
Nobody was found in the well, but there was a number of body parts in the well. All but one had their heads bashed with the hammer. They killed him with hammers too,
That's
just like
crazy.
John.
That's crazy.
Yo, that's eerie.
Yeah.
So all of their heads were bashed with a hammer and their throats were cut. The newspaper reported that they were indecently mutilated. The body of a young girl was found with no injuries sufficient to cause of death. It is suspected that they had began to strangle her or buried her alive. That was the
Oh.
baby girl, Dr. York's baby. Um, a Kansas newspaper reported that that a crowd was so incensed after finding the bodies that a friend of the Benders named Brockman, that's a weird name, Brockman, who was among the onlookers, was hanged from the beam of the inn until unconscious, revived, interrogated, then hung again. After the third hanging, they released him and he staggered home as one who was drunken and deranged. Um, A Roman Catholic prayer book was found in the house with notes inside written in German, which were later translated. The text read, Johanna Bender, born July 30th, 1848. John Gebhardt came to America July 1st, 18, and then question marks on the year. Big Slaughter Day, January 8th, and Hell Departed. Don't know what any of that shit means.
Hmm.
Um, Words of the murder spread quickly, and more than 3,000 people, including reporters from far away as like New York and Chicago, all visited the area. The Bender's cabin was destroyed. Oh, the Bender's cabin was destroyed by souvenir hunters who took everything, including the bricks that lined the cellar and stone lining the walls.
Oh wow.
I feel like they did that a lot back in the day. They would just like take pieces of like houses and stuff.
Well, and then the crazy part of this whole thing was like, I don't know if you're getting to this, but didn't they like they basically invited like had people in, and when they would go to have a meal, were you gonna get to this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over this
All
right
right,
now.
that's
So
the only thing I remember. I was like, that's terrifying
yes, so their
because
killing
someone
method.
realized something was up.
Well, I think they were trying to rob them, to what I remember.
Okay,
I could be wrong. So it's conjectured that when the guests stayed at the Bender's bread and breakfast and inn, the host would give the guests a seat of honor at the table that was positioned over the trap door into the cellar, with the victim's back to the curtain. Kate would distract the guest while John Bender or his son came from behind the curtain and struck the guest on the right side of their skull with a hammer. One of the women would cut the victim's throat to ensure death, and the body was then dropped through the trapdoor. Once in the cellar, the body would be stripped and later buried somewhere on the property, often in the orchard. Although some of the victims were wealthy, others carried little to no value on them, and it was surmised that the Benders had killed them simply for the sheer thrill of it.
jeez,
That's fucked.
yeah.
I thought it was all money motivated, but clearly not. That's so scary.
Now, did anybody get away?
Let me see.
I could be wrong. I thought someone like saw someone creeping up on them in the curtain, or like saw their feet in the curtain or something.
Here we go. Testimony from people who stayed at the Bender's Inn and managed to escape before they could be killed appeared to support the presumed execution method at the Bender's Inn. William Pickerton,
Yes, William Pickerton.
yep, he said that
The only
when
reason I remember that is I remembered it was like Pinkerton with like
Days
the old
Confused guy.
no, the old Pinkertons like of well, just go ahead, tell your story.
So, William Pinkerton said that when he had refused to sit near the wagon cloth because of the stains on it, Kate Bender had threatened him with a knife, whereupon he fled the premises. A Catholic priest claimed to have seen one of the Bender's men concealing a large hammer, at which point he became uncomfortable and quickly departed. Two men had been Two men had traveled to the inn to experience Kate Bender's psychic powers, stayed for dinner, but had to refuse to sit at the table next to the cloth, instead preferring to eat their meal at the main shop corner. Kate then became abusive towards them, and shortly afterwards, the Bender man emerged from behind the cloth. At this point, the customers felt uneasy and decided to leave. A move that almost certainly saved their lives. More than a dozen bullet holes were found in the roof and the side of the curtains, and media speculated that some of the victims had attempted to fight back after they had been hit with the hammer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So the Pinkertons were a detective agency back then. So that's the only reason I remember that. Alan Pinkerton.
Oh.
And they basically took on the duties of like kind of like the FBI, but they were like a private detective agency.
Oh.
But so I remember that name when you said it because I remember thinking of Pinkerton, like because it was around the same time. But
Got
it's
it.
like Pickerton or something, right?
Pickerton. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. But the Pinks,
yeah, Pickerton. Where the hell did it go? Yeah, it's
right,
Pickering.
right. That's that's crazy.
So
Would you have survived that?
no, I would have been swindled and beaten with a hammer immediately. I would have been like, "Oh, you want me to sit here? Sure. Take my money first."
Thank you. Here's a bunch of money. And just so you guys know, you can use my share if, and then you get smacked in the head.
It's at Xcarta. It's so cool.
I have this great timeshare.
Totally what would have happened to me.
You guys are so nice, Elvra or whatever. Fucking.
Elvra, I love you. Okay, so this is their escape. So it says detectives followed wagon tracks. They end up finding the Bender's wagon abandoned with a starving team of horses just outside the city limits. So it was like 12 miles away. It was confirmed that the family had bought tickets on the Leveringworth, Lawrence, and Galveston Railroad to Humboldt. I guess that's California, Humboldt, California.
I have no clue.
Um,
Is that what it says?
it just says Humboldt. John and Kate left the train and caught the M&KT train south to Tremenus in Red River County near Denison, Texas, where from there they traveled to an outlaw colony thought to be on the border between Texas and New Mexico. They were not pursued as lawmen following outlaws into this region often never returned. That's crazy too. That like during that time they would stop searching for people because they would get killed.
Humboldt is in Cali, and there's a movie called Humboldt County. That got 60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know if it's a movie. I think it's a Netflix show. I watched it. Or no, it's called like Up on This Mountain or something.
No,
It's all
this
about
looks
the
like a movie.
drugs. Okay.
Hour 38.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That's not what I'm thinking then. One detective. Oh, what?
Nothing. We just paused on Humboldt County movie.
I had to cough a little bit. One detective later claimed that he had traced the pair to the border where he had thought that John, or no, I'm sorry, where he had found that John Jr. had died. The elder Benders did not leave the train at Humboldt, but instead continued to Kansas City, where they were believed to have purchased tickets to St. Louis, Missouri.
So they were just they were just on the run at this point.
Yeah, they're on the run. A bunch of groups of vigilantes formed search parties looking for the Benders. Many stories say that one vigilante group actually caught the Benders and shot them all, but Kate, whom they buried alive. Another group claimed that they had caught the Benders and lynched them before throwing their bodies into a river. Another claimed they have killed the Benders during a gunfight and buried their bodies on a prairie. But no one ever claimed the $3,000 reward, which would be how much do you think that would be worth today? $3,000.
In what year?
1873, I think it was.
1873.
Yeah.
Does it tell you?
Yeah, it tells me right here.
Oh,
Just guess.
$3,000.
$3,000 then.
80.
Close, 67,000.
Dang.
Yeah. The story of the Benders' escape spread, and the search continued on and off for the next 50 years. Often, two women traveling together were accused of being Kate Bender and her mother. In 1884, it was reported that John Flickerton had committed suicide in Lake Michigan. Also, in 1884, an elderly man matching John Bender Sr.'s description was arrested in Montana for a murder committed near Idaho, where the victim had been killed by a hammer blow to his head. A message requesting positive identification was sent to the police station, but the suspect he severed his foot to escape. His
To
leg
get
irons.
Oh, like Saw.
Yeah, so he cut his own foot off to get out, and he escaped.
Like Carrie was in Saw.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Despite the lack of identification, the man's skull was displayed as part of P.A. Bender. Oh, wait, hold on. By the time the deputy from where he escaped, arrived, identification was impossible due to decomp. So he didn't escape? Oh, he bled to death. Holy shit. I missed that part. He tried to cut his leg off. He was unsuccessful and he bled to death.
Nice.
So by the time the other deputy got there, they couldn't positively identify him because he was so badly decomposed and it was the 1800s.
Yeah.
But they do have that person's skull on display as that of they're calling him P.A. Bender. It's in a Salomon saloon until Prohibition forced the closure in 1920, and the skull just disappeared. So somebody has the skull now. We don't know where though.
Okay, great.
Um,
Somebody does have that skull. All right, that's good. All right, all right,
I mean, the end of this just talks
right,
about.
right, right.
It says several weeks after the discovery of the bodies, Addison Roach and his son-in-law William. That was the neighbor
Right,
Roach.
the roaches.
Um, they were arrested as accessories to crime.
Probably.
In total, 12 men um, would be arrested, including Brockman and Roach.
Brockman Turner Overdrive?
Ooh, what's that from?
Bachman Turner Overdrive is a band. BTO?
Oh, okay. Not familiar. Not familiar.
Now you know their songs.
Play us one. We can only play 7 seconds though.
You ain't seen nothing yet. That's my favorite one.
Oh,
Do you know
ew!
it?
Brockman was arrested again at 23 years old for the rape and murder of his own 18-year-old daughter.
That's gross.
Ew, these guys all should die. Oh, I know this. Only play 7 seconds.
I have to edit that out.
Yeah, edit that one out. That's a big timey one.
You
Yeah,
ain't
the rest
seen
of this
nothing
stuff
yet.
is they got away.
Mm.
Nobody knows where they are at. And then I have a list of victims. Should I go over the victims?
Sure.
Okay, so
I was before we do that, Bachman Turner Overdrive, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, was covered. I don't know who covered it, but they made it a little harder in the movie D2, Mighty Ducks.
Oh.
And the Bash Brothers are like rocking out to it at one point, and it was playing. And when I was a kid, I was like, man, that song's cool as shit. And then when like LimeWire came around, I just looked up You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. And I was like, Bachman Turner Overdrive. I was like, well, I guess this is it. And then I like downloaded it and I listened to it. I'm like, oh, this is the original. That was some fucking dumb, stupid.
So you always thought that was the original?
Yeah, the other one, the hardcore. I don't even think it's that hardcore. I wonder if I could find it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, sorry about that. So, who are the victims?
So I'm not going to go through the list of victims. There was a lot of them. Some of them they, were reported missing. Some of them had cash that was stolen. Some didn't. Um, so there was a lot of body parts that were recovered that didn't match. Sounds like the same version.
Sorry.
So there's a lot of body parts that were found that never matched the bodies. So they're suspected that there was a lot more people killed than that they could identify. So they're thinking it was more like 20 victims.
Whoa.
Yeah. Some of the bodies weren't claimed because they were like unknown travelers. And there is it's the site's marked now and it's known as the Bender Mounds where some of these unmarked graves were. The cabin, it says the search of the cabin resulted in the recovery of 3 hammers, a shoe hammer, a claw hammer, and a sledgehammer that had appeared to match indentations on some of the skulls. These hammers were given to the Bender Museum in 1970 or 67 by the son of Leroy Dick, an Osage Township trustee who headed the search party of the property. So a lot of these police officers just kept these as souvenirs. The hammers are now displayed at the Bender Museum in Kansas. It's at the site was eventually acquired by the fire station, but there's like a museum there. There was attempts to relocate the museum. It became a point of controversy. Some locals objected to it, saying they didn't want the town to be known for the Bender murders. The Bender's artifacts were eventually given to another museum where they remain as wall-mounted like in a wall-mounted display case. There's a knife with a 4-inch tapered blade that was reportedly found in the kitchen in a mantle clock at the Bender's house. And it still has like reddish brown stains on the blade.
Ew.
Yeah. And there's a historical marker indicating the description of the Bender's crimes located at a rest area at the conjunction of US Route 400 and US Route 169. And there is a connection with Little House on the Prairie. So I guess the Little House on the Prairie family, the Ingalls. Do you remember that
No, I'm
name?
not clue.
I don't know either, but I guess it's the Ingalls family. I'm probably saying it wrong. So we're gonna get some hate on that. Made famous in the books and television series Little House on the Prairie, lived in Independence, Kansas. And Laura Ingalls Wilder mentioned the Bender family in her writings and speeches.
Really?
Yep, in 1937, she gave a speech at a book fair, which was later transcribed and printed in September 1978.
Isn't
Um,
Michael Landon in that?
I think so.
Yeah, it's Michael Landon. And
She mentioned stopping at the inn as well as recounting the rumors of the murders spreading through their community. She alleged that her father, Pa Ingalls, joined the vigilante hunt for the killers, and when he spoke of later searches for them, she recalled, at such times, Pa always said in a strange tone and fatality, they will never be found. They will never be found, and later I formed my own conclusions to why. Some have cast doubt on the story, saying that Laura would have only been 4 when her family moved away from the area, and the Benders were exposed in 1973, 2 years after the Ingalls family left.
great.
That's what I got on
Michael
the
Landon. Do you
Benders.
remember? Do you remember this? We're the same age. There was a show called Highway to Heaven.
Seventh Heaven?
No, Seventh Heaven. When I see them smiling face, or something like that, looking down on me. No, Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon, and he was like,
We're on a highway to hell.
that's ACDC. No, he like was an angel that came back, and he was like,
I remember this.
yeah, because anytime I was homesick from school,
Oh my God,
there was like a
such
lineup of like the A Team, Highway to Heaven, The Price is Right, Knight Rider. It was like a whole lineup.
Yes.
The one with the helicopter. There was like a lineup of this shit. That was it. He was
The A Team or MASH or whatever it
whenever
was.
my parents would talk about Michael Landon from like not the all this Michael Landon talk occurred, but
That's all they talked
but
about was Michael Landon.
but they would be like, "Oh, he was on Little House on the Prairie," and like I didn't know what that was, but I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, I know what Highway to Heaven is, though."
Yup.
But because I think Little House on the Prairie was like maybe late 70s, early 80s, and then Highway to Heaven was like mid 80s to late 80s, but then he passed away in early 90s from cancer.
Oh.
And that was the first time I remember like cancer being a thing.
Yeah.
And then it was in syndication
Whoa.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
So when you stay home from school on 17 and 57 and shit, it would be Highway to Heaven, 18.
I never watched Hideaway in Heaven, but I remember all the commercials.
Foxtrot. What the fuck was that helicopter show?
MASH and or
No.
A Team.
MASH was good helicopter. That MASH actually was funny, but when I was a kid, I hated it. I hated the theme song.
Oh, it's so long.
It's
All
so
the
like
theme
it's so
songs
like
are so long.
and I'm like, dude, come on. A Team was the best. It was like and yeah, I'm like, yeah, someone's getting fucked up. And then it was MASH. It was like it was like so sad or some shit. All right, wait, hold on. Ready?
Man.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Play it.
Wait,
Is this Highway to Heaven?
No, idiot.
Which one's this?
Ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh, is this the one that you thought was the real one?
Wait, the best part is it's Dean Portman and Fulton Reed.
Mm-hmm.
They're the Bash Brothers.
Oh.
And they're like hardcore and like
Okay.
punky.
Yeah.
This is the hardcore song. So this part coming up, they like start smashing their beds or some shit.
Oh. Oh, badass.
Yeah, I remember hearing this or watching D2 and I was like, damn, that was like heavy metal to me.
That's hilarious.
It sounds like the Spin Doctors.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Oh, walk around my town. I'll just cover the song and then I'll go, I'm working with Sean Brown.
Please.
I don't know, but this actress, Dottie McFarlane, I believe she's going to go far. I can just tell. I'm going to remake every Molly Ringwald movie into a 1920s,
Dottie McFarland.
16th, Dottie McFarlane original.
Dottie McFarland
16
smokes Virginia
candles.
Slims,
Yeah.
drinks hard alcohol, and sleeps with
Give me
questionable
another
men.
whiskey and hurry up, pussy.
Oh, Dottie, you crazy lady.
I got my lines to read. Give me another double Jack and whiskey.
2 Virginia
Double Jack
Slims,
and whiskey.
please.
Double Jack and whiskey.
I
That's
want
like
the dirty
that's
Shirley.
like just like it's like fucking
Double Jack and whiskey.
just mixing Jack Daniels and whiskey in the 20s too. I'm sure Jack Daniels was huge in the 20s.
Oh Lord.
What'll it be, Wyatt Earp? I'll take a Jack Daniels, please. How about a nice Jack and Coca-Cola?
Dottie McFarlane, we don't even know Wild Herb. Wild Herb. We don't even know what Coca-Cola is.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, they did. They did, right?
Well, Wyatt Earp was before that, but I don't know.
Dottie McFarlane knew what Coca-Cola was. There was cocaine in that Coke back then.
She knew what she was doing.
She knew how to live it up.
Maybe. Yeah, the OK Corral fight was 1881. So back then, so that was like around your time of your murders.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That was the Bloody Bender.
Plus some other bullshit.
Plus Dottie McFarlane.
Bloody Bender / Dottie McFarlane / Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Wait, but there was another tangent we went on, and I can't remember that one.
It was a lot longer.
Mighty Ducks.
I didn't do that for that long.
All right. Well, there's one other one I'm forgetting about.
We don't need to recap. They're
John Andrews Robinson.
Oh, and the Breakfast Club.
And the Breakfast Club. Yes. All right.
I hope you like that recap of what we just told you. Hope you like that recap of us not getting through the episode of the Benders, and then we recapping how we didn't get through it.
I just hit my nails on my microphone.
I saw. Check out the YouTube video, guys. Actually, don't. We look pretty dumb.
Yeah, we definitely do.
All right. That's actually should be our new thing.
What?
Oh, man. I hope no one's watching this to make people watch it.
Oh, guys, definitely go check out what Jesse's wearing because it is lame-o.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has his Dottie McFarlane shirt on.
Actually, I have a Princess Diana shirt on.
Close enough.
In a Sixers jersey. It's pretty dope.
That is pretty awesome.
It's obviously photoshopped, but it's one of my favorite shirts.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, guys.
All right, that's it.
That's an episode.
Senorita Gato. That's an episode. Is that your new sign off? I like it.
You do or don't? That's an episode.
I do.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That's an episode.
That's an episode.